What's up, everybody? Thank you for stopping by while I drop some more chisma. If you guys don't know what that chisme, not chisma, not chisma, chisme. Anyways, chisme in Spanish means gossip. Today we are doing the BTS Part 2 vlog. I'll be honest, why are we doing Part 2? We knew that we needed to do a Part 2 after Part 1 because we were still coming off the high of that video, which actually, let's see, is it this Sunday? It's 1 month?
Yeah, this Sunday is 1 month that we went to see.
Now we want to see. We are literally just coming off the excitement and everything off of seeing the concert there in Madrid.
So
Uh,
actually today.
Today. So today you're seeing this. It's been 1 month since we were there in Madrid, seeing these guys rip up the stage. Now, I will say overall, what did I think about it? To recap, I just thought it was great. I thought the stage was bigger than I've ever seen a stage to be. Not to mention the fact that there was just a lot happening. And I think that if you were higher up in the rafters, sort of say, or higher up into the crowd, and you could see down in the stage, you could see a lot more than what the people on the floor were missing. A lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. Not to mention the fact that I just, again, the aesthetics of the stage and what it looked like, what it represented, being that it was round and it had multi levels and all those levels came up. The whole stage was basically a Nordic aesthetic. If you know anything about boating or Nordic life, you know what I mean? That kind of salty dog lifestyle, fishing and exploring, they all have their Nordic devices. That device, this Nordic compass, what it is actually, I'll be honest with you, is it's actually three different things. The outer compass is the compass. The inner, I believe, measures the depth, and then the other measures the air and where the air is going. So it's something to that degree. I know because when I was younger, my dad was many things, but we had a boat and he was really into that whole aquatic Nordic or not Nordic, aquatic um thing. You know what I mean? We had boats and downriggers and all kinds of stuff. So I just recognized the stage as being that and having this thing to it. Now, nautical theme to it. That's what I meant to say. Did I say, have I been saying nautical or Nordic?
You've been saying Nordic.
Nordic? Nautical compass. Anyways, my bad, peeps. So the point is that I really, really dug that. It was something familiar to me from my past. And at the same time, that I kind of understood the idea of swim, right? And even the stage being round with having the X, basically that's like a life preserver, right? That's kind of the symbol of a life preserver. That's what I'm taking from it. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's just what I took from it. Now, um, the entire concert was amazing from beginning to the end. And even in the breaks, I could tell that these were much needed breaks, not just for them, because they're the ones that are working the hardest, and up there in full blown jackets in 95-degree weather. Like, I just don't get it. I'm sure that they had some type of cooling system on the stage for these guys, but I mean, it was hot. I saw the fucking devil himself, like down on the floor, just enjoying himself and shit. That's how hot it was. So it was not an easy thing to sit there. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be jumping around like that. Now, with that said, um, what did I miss? I missed a few things. I missed the solo stuff because reviewing the videos that I've done before when I've done concerts, I've taken a look at their full concerts, a few of them. Always had a section where they did solo stuff, and that's what I was so missing. I was a little sad that I didn't get to see Serendipity. I was sad to and there's a lot of stuff that I wish that we would have seen. You know what I mean? And with the solo stuff, I wanted to see Tay do his thing. All of them. Even RM, man. RM, definitely all of them, because the other guys, in the past, they've gotten to do their solo stuff, but RM came out with his own records, and it just would have been awesome to see him do like Right Place, Wrong Time or whatever. Any one of those songs would have been cool. Just even a verse of that. Um, we didn't really see that. We didn't see it. We didn't see Jin do Super Tuna. That would have been great. You know what I mean? So there's just like I believe like in the solo atmosphere of BTS, there's just some flagship songs that still I don't know that still to me are standard BTS, even though they were done in a solo manner. Super Tuna is one of those tracks, man. Like, how can you not have that? So, and shout out to the tunas that did show up in their tuna regallery, tuna costumes and everything. They kept it good, man. They kept it for real for Jen. So I just feel like I was missing that. What's the other one? Astronaut. That would have been amazing. Just even that song being sang by the entire group, like actually working on an arrangement that involves the rest of the group would have been good. So I did there were things like that that I can say that I missed. Things that I wish would have been a little more in that vein. It didn't happen. I Need You. I would have loved to have seen that. I don't understand why they didn't do I Need You. I don't.
They did it in one of the surprise ones.
I'm one of the surprise videos, but you had to have been in the city to get that surprise. It should have been worked in to me, in my opinion, I think it should have been worked into the whole thing. Even dude, even if they would have done a a how do you say that? Like a mashup? Huh?
A medley?
Like a medley. Yeah. It would have been great if they would have just done medleys of that. That would have been awesome. I don't know. I think that because I did talk to a couple folks there after, and I think everybody kind of had the same thing. Like, oh, it's just too bad that they didn't do any of the solo stuff. I Need You. Oh man. I need you. I mean, how could you not do that one? Or they did that, didn't they? In one of the secret ones,
DNA?
DNA.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know that they have a lot of tunes. I know that there's a lot going on when it goes into trying to do the set list. That is where I feel is the only thing I miss. But is it enough to bitch about it? Not really. It's just enough for me to say, like, I didn't get to say it the first time. Like, but I think that they could have done a little more with some of the older tunes, especially for a new army like me. I'm just getting into this shit. I'm 2 years army. You know what I mean? I'm still considered baby army. So what I'm reviewing and what I'm growing up on, as far as being army and everything, these are signature songs for me. You know what I mean? So then for them not to do it, it's kind of jip. I kind of feel a little ripped when it comes to that, but at the same time, I can't complain about the entire concert. I can't complain about anything because from the stage until the last note of the show and all the fireworks, it was just and you don't go to see that concert, you go to experience it. That's the way that I see it. Now, uh surprise songs. Day one, Airplane. That is the mariachi song that they did. Uh Wings, I hadn't heard that one before. Hadn't heard that one. Airplane I'd heard, Wings I hadn't heard before. Very, very special to hear something I hadn't heard and to see the way that the crowd reacted to it was really, really cool. So getting to know something new like that was very special to me at that moment. And well, what can I say? That was awesome. Of course, Airplane, well, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? That song is a classic. I do know that song. Day two. This is an army song that they did, and I'm trying to microcos. How do you say it?
Microcosmos.
Microcosmos. No, microcosmos.
Whatever.
Microcosmos. Blah, 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 and best of me. Best of me. So I want to say that I probably like the surprises of the first day and second day. I think, or no, this is the second day we're talking about.
Do you like the first day?
I like first day more than the microcosmos and everything else. But uh
Not me.
You definitely liked day two better than day
Yeah.
one. Nah, I think because I heard something new and I got to hear something new live, that it makes it a little more special for me. But I knew you got a little more excited on the second day. So I will say that. All right. Now let's break this down. As far as how they danced, I have to say to you that it's not that I wasn't paying attention, because I was. All right. But let me say it like this, that there's so much to look at when you're at this concert, that there's some things that just go by that you don't see. So there were many times that I was looking at one part of the stage and Irene is looking at the other part and she's going, "Hey, hey, like look." And it's not that I'm not looking, it's that I'm just so enthralled with what I'm seeing that it's hard for me to look. I mean, literally, this is like looking at like a fucking 60-inch screen. You know what I mean? Like you're watching something, but with that in your face, something that big, it's hard to watch the entire thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard for me to catch some of the dancing. But I will say this, when I did see them dancing, it was pretty dope. I couldn't sit here and tell you what tunes they were actually dancing to, except to say that I know that when they went onto the floor and they were doing body to body, like the newer stuff, they would go into some choreo, but it seemed like most of the times they were dispersed and they were in different wings of the stage. But when I did see him dancing, I have to tell you that they killed it. Now, let's compare this to the concerts that we saw after, that came after Madrid, right? Because there were some army that were actually in Paris, in Berlin, and everywhere, and we were actually able to see it. Not Berlin, whatever.
Munich.
Munich. Anyways,
Get it right, Frank.
Frank. The point is, I'm gonna say it, and it's probably gonna cause some shit. It's probably gonna cause some controversy, but I don't think that the rest of the cities, Munich, Paris, where else was it?
London.
London. I don't think that they got the performance that
Brussels.
Brussels, they didn't get the same performance that we got in Madrid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'll tell you why. Partly because the very first time they came out of that tunnel in Madrid, this was the first show in Europe. So, and they had wanted to be in Spain for the longest time. Different members had talked about coming here. So, I think the excitement was just all over them, because when they came out with a thunder, and they kept that first night, day one, night one was unmatched. I did not see that same type of energy ever again after Madrid. The second night, the same way. Second night, actually a little more measured, a little more studied. Okay. I think they were going to rock it again, and they rocked it in yet a different way. But what I did not see was fatigue. I didn't see any fatigue. I didn't see anybody falling off. I didn't see anybody getting tired. The only thing that we did see at the end of the second night was it just kind of looked like Sugar was like,
That
wow,
was at the end of the first night.
where he looked like the edibles kicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the first night. It looked like at one point the edibles had kicked in.
Oh my God. Stop.
I'm
You're
just
gonna
so,
get in trouble.
I'm not suggesting that he ate marijuana. I'm just playing. Let me go back because I don't want to piss anybody
Oh
off.
my God. They're gonna clip it and everything.
Oh, jeez. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. Anyways, I'm just saying that just to be funny. What I'm saying is that he looked shocked. He looked shocked that we have. I mean, he is looking around at this point going, wow. Like, I think at that moment, everything caught up to him all at once. And I think that he was just in a happy way. He was shocked. And so yeah, I was just saying, look, the edibles kicked in, but I was just joking. I know those guys don't do that stuff. So it's just me being dumb. Okay. Just me being stupid and saying dumb things. So don't clip it and do all this shit to it, because it's not true. I love Sugar and I'm not suggesting anything. Anyways, I can just tell you that the energy level was up here. Second night, same thing, different type of vibe. And you probably, what do you mean by that? I'll say it like more aggressive. Like they came out on stage the first night and it was absolutely like very, very energetic. They were on and popping, but I think the second night they came out, it was more measured, more studied, and aggressive. Like they came out, and I think that in the second day, in my opinion, they danced a little more than they did the first night. And I think that was cool, man. I get it. They were excited. They were excited. And I think we were really lucky to see that part of them. That's what I think. Now, when I saw the other concerts afterwards, I just didn't see the same chutzpah. I didn't see the same energy that they gave Spain. I'm not taking away from any of their performance at all. I just think that at that point they were very, very measured. I think they were focused on everything that they were doing. And I think what we got the excited version. And I think what everybody else got after that was the prepared version, was like this is the way the show is supposed to go. Everything is in order and everything else. Now, I will say this though, there was a little bit of tea, and the tea that I got back, and I had actually called it at one point, was that I think it was in Paris. I think they were having some audio issues, right? Because there were a couple moments where it looked like they couldn't hear. It looked like they couldn't hear. What do I mean by that? I started to notice that with Jimin in Paris, and I think it was the first night towards the middle of the concert. Jin or it was Jimin was he was singing, and those guys sing live, by the way, which is super impressive because big shows like that, especially track shows, they're not always singing live. Most of the times they're not, right? And they do a lot of pre-recordings to make it sound like they're doing live stuff. These guys did not do it. I'm an astute listener of that stuff. I can tell you what's happening. They were singing live. And this is why I know that what I'm about to say had to be somewhat true. In my experience, when singers have in-ear monitors and something fucks up, there's the face that we get. Because I know I toured with in-ear monitors too when I was in the reggaeton group, and many things would go wrong because at one point you're engaging with the audience, you're engaging with everything, the music. It's just you're in that moment, but then all of a sudden something happens and you stop. And I don't know, I think it's just you stop because you stop hearing what's happening, and there's like fright that happens and it shows in your face. Like you kinda like you went from just rocking out to all of a sudden, you don't know, something happened in those ears that makes you stop. Something starts to make you look in the distance to try to hear what's happening. You start to adjust your phones, and at one point, sometimes you get frustrated and you take them out. Personally, I hate in-ear monitoring. I maybe as a if I was playing the drums, but the times that I did it, it was me being on stage rapping, and that happened where at the end, man, I would just take off these in-ear monitors because they just get so, oh, how do I say it? You like you hear everything and you don't. It's kind of hard to explain, but you hear what's happening, but what's in front of you doesn't make sense because you see people going nuts, but you don't hear that. You know what I mean? And you also don't hear the ambience of the room. So when you take them off, sometimes it just feels better because now it seems like you have a little more control of your volume. That moment, I could tell that Jimin was having some issues. And a couple lines went by where he was supposed to sing and I don't think he did, or he came in halfway. But there was just pointing to me that there was technical problems that was happening. Then when I saw the rest of the members going through it, I saw the same kind of look, like whatever Jimin heard, they heard too. And so everybody kind of went from being really excited to kind of just slowing down and listening and playing with their in-ears. And I told Irene, I said, "Oh man, they're having some issues," because then the next person to come through was JK, and he was singing, And it was then that I realized he's not hearing anything. He's singing, he's a little off, but he's off in ways that there's no way JK would be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way JK would ever be that off unless he was not hearing himself, unless he was something was happening in his in ears, and he ended up taking him out. So there was something happening, and it kept happening. Whatever that was kept happening through the performance because then I started to really pay attention to how they were moving. And it just seemed like that was the issue. Now, second night in Paris, same thing. Uh, it seemed like it's somewhere in the middle, maybe in the programming, but somewhere in the middle of the concert, some issues started happening again. And this time when it happened, you could see it on their face that they were fucking pissed. You know what I mean? They still were rocking out. They're still being BTS. They're still being the lovable guys that they are. Just you could see that there was tension. And it was not tension between them. This was tension with the staff. And subsequently, there was a video. I don't know if it was in Paris. I think it was where I believe it was Jin or Jimin. They were saying that they were yelling at somebody in the staff, and I didn't see that. What I saw, I didn't see any yelling. What I saw was because it's so loud, that he has to speak up. He's got to literally us. So he's not yelling at him like you son of a, you know what I mean, and bitching at him. It was him trying to convey a message to what looked like the monitoring guy, like something's happening. Like I can't hear, we can't fucking hear. Like what's going on? So I don't think it was meant to be rude. I do not believe that he was yelling at him to be anger. And like with anger, I think it was concern and almost a bit of like I'm a bit panicked here with what's happening. So I know that some stuff was going on. That I do know. Let's see, vocals. Again, what can I say with that? I'm impressed because at that point when you're watching these guys on that stage, if you know anything about artist development and you know anything about what artists go through to prepare for such tours like that, you understand that either the artist is going to be in it and they're going to work hard to make sure that they deliver the greatest show they can, or you're going to get lazy artists who are like, yeah, what the fuck ever. And I just, when I get up there, I get up there. They get that attitude that whatever happens on stage happens on stage. I get it. I know the cues. I know the choreo, blah, 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 blah. They take things nonchalantly. Now, I don't want to say any names. I'm not gonna, but I can tell you, I can't say these names because these boys, when they got on stage and they started performing, you could see every stitch, every piece of artist development that they went through. It was on full display. They handled everything like true champs. So what can I tell you? And then on top of that, they sang live. Man, big hit, Hive. When it comes to artist development and their expectations of their artists, it is top shit, man. You ain't getting up there and I can almost I've never met Hitman Bang, but I can almost hear this man saying, "You ain't getting up there faking it. Mm-mm. You're recording artists. You're singing. You're singing. You only record in the studio. Now you get up there and sing." Now, there were some times, and I told you that when Jimin was singing, he stopped singing, and he missed a line or something, or maybe he was listening for the crowd, one of the reasons. But you do hear a guide in the back, but I don't believe it was a guide lead vocal, but I believe it was background singing that was happening. Doubles of what that line was. He just didn't sing the line and you heard the double of that line come through. Other than that, those guys are really singing, man. Every single one of them. And rapping. SUGA. Oh my God. Between SUGA and the rap line, they just were, wow. I could not believe how well these guys were doing rapping, especially in the midst of having the issues that they were having that I believe they had. It's my opinion. I got nothing concrete. I don't talk to anybody in that camp, so nobody told me nothing. Just telling you from my experience what I see. They sing live. If anybody is telling you otherwise, you can tell them up yours because they're not faking that. That is real singing. That's real performing. And what can I say? When they prepared for this, they prepared the correct way and it showed. 100% it showed. Let's see. Other than that, what can I say about each member? Well, Jimin, like true fashion, is just the icon of that how can I say that home screen. You know what I mean? Like Jimin is that icon. Him and JK both killed it. Both were back and forth with each other. And I dug that because I think they know that at the end of the day, each one of these guys is special in their own way. But as BTS, you know that JK is the lead singer of that group. And coming in under that would be the face, the body of Jimin. And him being able to take on the high parts and stuff like that. So to me, those two guys, they just really, really bring out the show. The rest of the guys are there as like super, super talents. Like, look, each one of them doing their own thing inside of a live environment, right? Now, what does that mean? Meaning, each one of them, they are very different of each other when they're live. They just take on a different live vibe that's top. Like Sugar is like, he's there, he's doing his thing. But when it comes time for him, man, this man, he reminds me of T.I. I know that some of you may not know who that is, or if you know the rapper T.I. and you know him as performing live, that guy is amazing. At least he was in the 90s and early 2000s. I seen that man get up there by himself, and just rock a crowd like nobody's business. And that's Sugar. Sugar, he's got the rap and gift that Eminem has, and yet he has the performance ability of Ti. And I just really respect that. Now, to see the rap line when you see Hobie, you see RM, just cool. I don't know what else to say with that. Like they're individuals, but yet at the same time, they have a way of coming together like they're the Cyclops. Like these guys can just deliver lines and they do it so effortlessly. So other than that, what can I say? Man, Jin surprised me, surprises me. And he's funny. He's super funny. He knows when the camera's on him. He knows when to give the kiss. He just knows how to work that crowd, man. And he's not as out front as the rest of the guys are, but I guess he doesn't really need to be because you know that he's there. And when the camera comes on, the whole worldwide handsome thing just lights up the entire stadium, and all these people go nuts for him. So I think he did.
And your bias?
We're getting to my bias. Híjole. I'm saving the best for last. All right. Now, the man that I love the most, the one, the weaver, the one who can go in between everybody, steal the show, is going to be V, my man Taeyong. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I saw some shit that I couldn't believe with them. First off, as hot as it was, again, these men are walking out in full blown trench coats, fucking jean jackets, like just I don't know how you did it without passing out. And I don't know how you did it without melting literally in front of us because it was so hot. But Tay, I will be honest with you, kind of looked at what he was wearing, kind of looked at how he was being. And Tay's the guy that just watches everybody going nuts and he's doing his thing, but he stays in the cut. He stays in the cut. When it's his time, he comes out, he blows, and that's what he does. But what I like about him is, believe it or not, he connects with the audience a little more in at least that I saw in this concert than I've ever seen him do before. I saw more of him, I heard more of him, and I saw him interacting with the crowd about as much as Jimin does. And I've never seen that before because Tay always seems to be, like I said, he's always kind of in the background. He does his thing and people know who he is. But to see him excited like this, to see his and I say aggressiveness, but I don't mean it in a bad like his just eagerness to connect with the crowd, I thought was great. I thought it was awesome. In Mexico City, when he got that corn dog, that was kind of like the point. Like he was going to milk this moment for the good time that it was. And I think that Watching him, he was not nervous. He wasn't quiet. And I think he was super excited. And I loved watching that about him because he is my bias. He is, to me, he's the shit. Just everything. And if there's one person that you could say, well, who's the most different of all of them? I know a lot of people. Well, I've asked that question. People are Jin. No, it's not. It's V. To me, in my opinion, he's the most different of them. Different in so many ways. The other ones are definitely, they ride with each other quite a bit, but V, just, you got, I guess through the years, as I've gotten to know his personality and his persona, it was cool to see him that excited. It was cool to see him connect. And he just had the biggest smile the entire, that's the other thing. You don't see that dude smile too much. You know what I mean? You don't see him smile too much. He's kind of, he gets a little gloomy and down, it seems. He's kind of has like the RM vibe when it comes to that kind of thing. But to see him smiling like he was doing was great. Overall, what can I say? Everything was great. The staff at the arena was good. I know that during the other concerts, they've had issues, especially in, where was that? Belgium. They were having some really bad issues with the staff there. Wasn't that they were having issues with the staff, more than the staff was having issues with controlling everybody out one entrance, I guess, or something to that degree. And it was really hot. And so there was just a lot more incidents that were happening.
Did you say anything about RM and J Hope?
Yes, I said those guys killed it. The rap line, the entire rap line. Well, I mean, look, let's talk about J Hope is always the difference between those two. J Hope isn't injured. Let's just be honest. RM is injured. Yes, I mean, before he got there, he's performing. This was the first time he performed without his cast and sitting down. Other than that, in New York and everybody and everywhere else, he had hurt himself. So he had to literally sit these performances out. Well, he came out there and he did his thing. That's the whole point, was that even during the concert, I said to Irene, I'm like, man, he's moving. Like he is moving. Before, I was just hoping that he wasn't going to hurt himself, is all, because these guys were super excited. Now, he did amazing. He rapped. I said it again. He's an amazing guy. When it comes to J Hope, J Hope's different, man. J Hope is on 11. If 10 is the top, he is at 11 at all times. At all times. And he was in his own world, man. That guy he had his shades on, he had his microphone, and he was in his own world. He just did amazing. And that, again, as rappers, the three of them just killed it. So what else can I say? I've covered all of those guys. Everything. This is the tea. This is all I can tell you. We had a great time. Um, I think the only bad thing was the fact that the taxi drivers were late getting to the venue at the end of the show, and that was a clusterfuck. That just really put me over the edge. I cannot stand big crowds like that.
We already talked about
But we
that
talked
in
about all that
the
shit.
vlogs.
I know. Anyways, I'm a grump. I'm all grumpy. Anyways, what can I say? It was great. I cannot wait for the next concert. Now, which brings me to my last point. Did you guys hear that they've added more dates to the concert?
Italy, either today or tomorrow, they're gonna add more dates.
Well, we're going to see if they come to Barcelona. I really hope they do. The only arena that I can think that they would fit in would be the new Spotify arena. And that kind of makes sense that they would perform there. We will see. As far as anywhere else, I can't think of another place. Where else do you think they could perform here?
Dries Compines. Dries Compines. It's about 60, I think. 60,000.
Wow. Yeah, well, they do more than that.
I mean, they would have to do at least 2 or 3 dates.
They'd have to. 60,000 is not enough for them. 80,000 was barely enough for them. So, in any event, that is my tea. You guys, thank you for stopping by. If you guys have any questions at all, put it in the comments and we will do our best to address them. Either we'll write back or I'll do another video uh, answering your questions. Other than that, if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and put that notification bell on to let me know the next time, to let you know the next time we drop one of these videos. I'm getting old, peeps. It's getting to the point where I'm forgetting shit. I don't know why. Anyways, you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you later.